Metroid Prime 4. What is up, Ninja? OG over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another PE discussion video. Today, we're going to be talking about how Eurogamer, the cat is out of the bag. Dr. Trey once again prescribes the right medicine, the antidote. We know what is going down Metroid Prime 4. We got that confirmation again from Eurogamer. Now, this is not an official confirmation, but gathering up all the evidence. Look, I'm no Sherlock or anything, no Sherlock Holmes, but it definitely looks like Metroid Prime 4 is going to be developed by Bandai Namco on the Nintendo Switch. Now, we already know that the game is going to be on the Nintendo Switch. That is not a mystery. That is something that we already know. Nintendo had announced that at last year's E3. However, the developer, in terms of who else is helping Nintendo, wasn't really known. All we knew was that Nintendo had an internal team, Kensuke Tanabe, Metroid veteran who'd been on the case for a long time now, since like what, 2000, 2001, back when Metroid Prime, the original, came out for the GameCube. So the dude's been around for a long time, seriously, and he's done some great work. Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3, they all were in collaboration between Nintendo's small team that they have with Kensuke Tanabe in Japan, in addition to Retro Studios based out of Texas. So that's pretty much a little bit of the history there when it comes to it. Now, Kensuke Tanabe is taking that team, maybe even adding some new people, we don't know, and they are taking that over to Bandai Namco in order to get a collaboration game done with Metroid Prime 4. And that's where everyone kind of splits ways. There are the people who go on one side of the road, which is, this is great. Bandai Namco definitely knows what they're doing. They have a track record with making great games when it comes to Nintendo Switch. And then there's the other side of the road where people go, where people just say, you know what, no way, Bandai Namco, they can't do it. And they don't really have much reasons why. They just don't think Bandai Namco can do it. And I am here to tell you guys, because we need a little bit of somewhere that can go down the middle, right? I'm here to tell you guys that Bandai Namco is more than capable of making a Metroid Prime game. I mean, if Mercury Steam, Castlevania Lords of Shadow 1 and Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 and Castlevania Mirror of Fate, guys, these games between them have like an average Metacritic of like 70 or something like that. I'm not really sure, but it's not like these guys were highly like touted before Metroid Samus Returns. Actually, they had run into a lot of trouble after Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 completely flopped on the Xbox 360, PS3, and I think there's a PC version, but either way, it flopped, and obviously Konami was done with them, and there was a lot of layoffs, there was internal strife, so Nintendo picked that developer in order to make Metroid Samus Returns. So if they were able to make a great Metroid game that turned out really good, is there a reason why Bandai Namco, a developer that's been around for decades at this point, a developer that has worked with Nintendo on large-scale projects, Super Smash Brothers. Have you guys ever heard of that game before? I'm pretty sure you have. Yes, that's Bandai Namco's muscle behind that one. So if they can do Super Smash Brothers, if they can do Pokken Tournament, if they can do all these other games that Nintendo has a collaboration with them, why can't they do Metroid? Metroid isn't some type of sacred franchise that's just so untouchable that only Retro can work on it, because before Metroid Prime, there was a developer that worked on the Metroid series. And look, I know people love Metroid Prime. I know people think Metroid Prime, the original, might be the best Metroid game in the series, but I honestly feel that Super Metroid is just as good. So there were Metroids beforehand. Yes, not in the first person. Yes, it doesn't have the Prime tagline on there, but still, it was a different developer that did that back then. We've had multiple different developers work on Metroid. We've had different leads before. This is not the first time that it's changed hands. This is not the first time that we are going to get someone else working on it. So for all the people that are just sitting there up and livid saying Bandai Namco can't make a good Metroid game, I would say not true. And not only that, but this harkens back to what happened the first time when Metroid went from 2D, when it went from what we used to see over, okay, to Retro Studios, an American developer in Texas. People flipped out. People thought that they couldn't do it. People said there's no way. People just said this is going to be horrible. This doesn't look anything like Metroid. And here we go. And now we have more of a seamless transition. This isn't even like changing, for the most part, it's going to be Prime, right? So it's going to be first-person action adventure. I think that's how Nintendo even described it. Yes, first-person action adventure. So they're not even changing the perspective or changing what's going on there. All they're doing is just changing the developer. And it seems to me like people are freaking out more than they did back then when it changed from completely 2D over to an American studio with Retro Studios that was unproven at that point, and people are freaking out even more. So I'm here to tell you guys to calm down because I honestly feel that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be one of the finest games on the Nintendo Switch. And the reason why it's going to be one of the finest games is because you have some fresh, new blood on the case. You have some different people. Look, guys, I love Prime 1. I think Prime 2 is okay. And I love Metroid Prime 3, but let's just be honest here, guys. It was getting a bit stale when it comes to the gameplay, when it comes to what was going on, when it comes to everything that they were trying to do with that game. It was time to shake things up just a little bit, and I think Bandai Namco can be that developer to do so. And like I said, they've worked on large-scale projects before. They worked on Super Smash Brothers. They know how to program. They know how to code. And remember, this isn't just Bandai Namco. It's not like the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm team, which is not even Bandai Namco. That is Cyber 2 Connect. But it's not like they're getting together and they're like, okay, how are we gonna make Metroid this time? You know, how are we gonna do this? So that's what I'm trying to tell you guys, that it is going to be a collaboration with Kensuke Tanabe, who's worked in the Metroid Prime franchise. They said Metroid Prime for a reason. It's Metroid Prime for a reason because it's going to be like that. Now, let's talk a little bit about how this game can change just a little bit. Now, I will have a live stream with my boy Rob from Rule of Two Review. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Search it and you'll be able to find it. Make sure you subscribe to him. We will be having a live stream at some point where we'll talk more about this, but I wanted to briefly talk about how a new developer, especially a Japanese one like Bandai Namco, could infuse some life into this franchise. And I honestly feel, what about bounty hunts? What about leveling up? What about some quests? Some mechanics that they can throw into there? All of those things can be put into there in order to make a more exciting Prime game, because once again, I love Prime 1, I like Prime 3, I think that they're great, but to me it just gets a little bit stale, kind of backtracking and fighting the same enemies and actually having no benefit between those enemies. Like, yes, you can like refill like some energy that you lost or something, but what's the benefit of taking on normal enemies? There's actually none for the most part, unless you have to beat them. They lock the arena away. So I would like there to be some ways to actually gain something from fighting. Usually what they did, you can gain information from scanning the enemy, which is great, but how about some XP boosts in there? How about some bonuses? How about some extras? Give us some reasons to actually engage in combat outside of we have to. So I personally would love to see that, and I think Bandai Namco could be a great developer in order to get some of those ideas along with Kensuke Tanabe and everyone else that's in there. So that's just kind of my idea as far as what I would like to see. I think that there's a lot of other stuff that they can do, but I'm here to tell you guys there's no reason to be worried whatsoever. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, just so if something can stick with you, Mercury Steam, okay? Mercury Steam. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. That was the game that this developer came off of. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 and Castlevania Mirrors of Fate. Guys, not horrible, like the worst games out there, but definitely not AAA quality, definitely not what you would associate with a brand as high as Metroid. And they even made a Metroidvania game, because Castlevania Mirror of Fate on the 3DS was a Metroidvania style game, and that wasn't even a great Metroidvania game than Castlevania games that came before. All of the Castlevania games on the DS were way better than Mirror of Fate. Well, maybe not way better, maybe not Portrait of Ruin. Well, Portrait of Ruin's good. They're all good, but anyway, what I'm trying to say is that they were all better. The trilogy of DS Castlevania games were better than Mirror of Fate. So that should have made people really worried when they stated that Mercury Steam was on there, but it turned out well. It turned out really good because of the team, because of Nintendo, because of the collaboration that they had, because of all of that. So that's what I'm here to tell you guys, that it's going to be okay. Don't worry. Bandai Namco knows what they're doing, and I think that we're going to get a solid Metroid Prime game because of Kensuke Tanabe, because of Nintendo, and because they know what the Metroid fans are looking for when it comes to things. So what do you guys think about all this when it comes to Metroid Prime 4, when it comes to Bandai Namco? Obviously, shout outs once again to Dr. Trey, but Eurogamer, they kind of stepped up, one of the big websites out there, pretty much confirming, yes, we've heard this. They also linked Dr. Trey's video as well. Make sure you check that out when you get a chance. Give him some credit. And I also want to say it looks like this game is going to be 2018 as well, based on how they were talking. I'll link to the Eurogamer article as well. It looks like it's going to be a 2018 game, just because I think that Nintendo's done with the whole announce a game 1 year, then wait 2 or 3 years before it comes out. I honestly think they want to get that game out within a year, year and a half. So I honestly feel that based off of this information here and kind of what we've been hearing, I think that it's going to be a fall 2018 game. And I also want to leave you guys with one more thing to where I think Bandai Namco can definitely be up to this. Now, these guys, Bandai Namco Singapore, that's the developer that's working on this game apparently. They worked on Star Wars 1313. Now, for those who don't know, I used to have a website, playerassist.com, where I covered Star Wars 1313 like crazy. That that game was just looking phenomenal, and a lot of the ex-staffers on there are working here for Bandai Namco Singapore on this title. So think about that, guys. Star Wars 1313, that game was amazing looking. That game looked so dope, but it got canceled because of the whole LucasArts Films thingy, whatever it was. It got canceled, but it was looking so good. So they have the graphical expertise. They have the sci-fi setting that they were building, the world, the atmosphere, everything. They've done that before in terms of Star Wars 1313, which there's a ton of assets out there that have been released, that have been leaked, that showed off that first trailer, and it was looking amazing. So I can only imagine the type of atmosphere, the type of graphical abilities and effects that they can do with the Nintendo Switch when it comes to Metroid Prime and the art, because Star Wars 1313 was the best artistically looking Star Wars game that I have ever seen in my life, even better than the Star Wars games out now from DICE. I thought Star Wars 1313 looks better than what they're doing right now with Battlefront, but that's just my opinion on the matter. So I do feel that they have the experience and they are ready to go when it comes to it. Obviously they're working on it, we can't change that, but I do think that it's going to turn out really well. So those are my thoughts on the matter. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of Player Essence across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon and YouTube Live gaming page and consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. And also one more thing, guys, I am an official Twitch affiliate. So if you do like to go over to Twitch and you want to support me there, make sure you check out my Twitch page, link in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in for the next video. Peace.